Okay, I'm going to be painting clouds here, and it will be on my sunset painting, but I'm going to do a little demo on a little piece of clayboard first. So, let me just get this up here. Okay, I hope my chat is on. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is take off my sweatshirt first of all. First of all, welcome anybody that's joining in. And it's a last minute decision to go live about an hour ago. I was just going to do a video for YouTube, and I decided to do, there you are, honey, how you doing? Let's see. Okay, so the reason why I have this up is the painting is actually this, my old sunset painting, and work on the clouds. But I want to just demonstrate how you can go about, especially as a beginner, making clouds that look pretty real, pretty photorealistically real, using batting or some kind of the stuffing from a pillow, whatever you want to call it. That would be this stuff here. We've even used it for Christmas displays. It's better than cotton. Cotton will not do what this can do. Okay, so this is very strong, and you can pull it apart. It stays together, sort of, and makes openings. So I'm just going to paint this blue for a minute. This is an old piece of clayboard with a image of a candy apple on it that I sanded down and got rid of. So just paint a quick sky. It's opaque paint. It should bury everything, including that old candy apple there. Let's see. I know I made some paint for this. Did I make enough? Okay. So I've had some people asking me, or I know one person on Facebook was asking me all about, I don't know how to paint clouds, and so that's kind of part of this painting. Has all kinds of clouds in it, swirling clouds, it has storm clouds, it has the sun setting. It's a beautiful, beautiful picture, It's got the sunset, it's got the blue sky still, and it has very small clouds that show perspective, distance. All right. So for all of us airheads that love airbrushing, just putting the background on here with my HP Plus. Really can get the paint on there quick. For anybody that sees this later, that's why I figure you can watch it anytime. So I figured if I can get some people that are doing nothing right at this minute, they can hop on here and watch. All right, so let me open my window and put my fan on, because the opaque paint really starts to, I'll put it on medium. It starts to get like really cloudy and makes you cough. Ooh, that's cold out there. Good old New Jersey. Okay, so more paint. I just mixed up blue violet, cobalt blue, and a touch of orange with a lot of white. Right, so we're just going to do it again. Yeah, it's burying, the opaque paint is burying the candy apple lines that were drawn or maybe even cut into the surface because of the X-Acto knife being cut in too deep. So it's still good. Now, let's put a little, I think I have darker blue. Just do. This is just a little quick demo that I'm using. This cheap piece of board, not cheap, but cut out little small board. We've got some darker at the top. Okay, and let's see, do a little bit more. Pulling away with the airbrush so I don't go total, you know, I want it dark at the top. All right, so now I can probably turn that fan off. Just very cold outside, so I'm done with the big spraying, so I'm going to shut the fan off and put my sweatshirt back on. Okay, so we just nope. A matter of fact, when I did the garbage tonight, and tonight's garbage night too. That's funny. I crushed the bag outside on the floor, and then I put it in. I did have to push down with my hands though, because it's still. I was trying to make it all fit in one thing. So no, I'm not going to climb up on the top of a mountain like that again and do that again, because I think I learned my lesson. Yeah. And then I don't know if I told you that I was visiting my son at his art studio, and we were just having something to eat together at the school in between. Well, he was teaching, but I was visiting with the baby and his girl and all that. And long story short, I was sitting on my wife's walker, leaning on it, and the wheels took off. I fell on the exact same spots. That happens so many times. Like if you play basketball and you jam your thumb, you re-injure it over and over. But for me to fall and land on my hand, my other hand, of course, but my bad hand, left hand, and the spine, same thing. So, yeah, I hit the same spots. All right, so we got a little blue sky here. I got to back out a little bit more so we can kind of see. I want to just get it to be, gosh, this is more sensitive than Facebook. All right. Nameless, yeah. We will go with no name here. I did not do that. Oh, I didn't do that. Okay. So if you have a piece of batting, okay, there's a couple ways you can use it. Clouds are usually very soft and beautifully, they billow and do all their nice things. So I'm just going to take white now. Not necessarily even clean out the brush, just put a little water in it. Okay, that's the wrong brush. I got my Micron. I want to use the HP Plus for this. I hope I didn't throw a lot of people off by just hopping on live on Facebook just to announce that I'm going over to YouTube, but I also advertise it in other ways too. So, all right, so now I'm going to put the white into the gun. I'm not worried about a middle tone and all that. I guess I could put I'll put a little blue in the white. Just mix it around right in the color cup. Just have I guess a middle tone. Okay. So you can take the batting. This is just a little, I'm not going to paint the clouds that I'm going to do in the painting like this, but let's just see what we can get. Think of a beginner. You really need two hands to do that. You need another person almost. But you could stretch that out. Let me try to open that up and get another part of it. Hold on one second. A newer piece. And I'll stretch it out like that. Try to keep it sort of like that, like an opening where you could see through it a little. And then pin it down. Stretch it with your fingers. And like I said, if you can get somebody else to help you, really stretch this baby, that will be good. So let's just see what we got here. Okay, so as you can see, it produces a really nice, realistic looking cloud, but it's not something you can control as far as putting it exactly where you want. You can get a general, you can get a beautiful sky, but it's going to be not copying like this photograph. I'm not going to be able to get every little cloud to look like that. And that's what I'm going to do freehand, most likely. Okay, well, not most likely. So then you could take and move it around a little bit. Now that I know it worked good, I'm going to kind of spread that out bigger. Okay, back that out so you can see it. Spraying pretty heavy. Down below a little. Okay, so that's what you're going to get. You can also tie it in with some freehand strokes, like tie it in a little bit. There's a good old scratch in the paint already. Put that in there. Breakaway clouds, little pieces that get in close. And so that's kind of, you can do this in a space scene, you know, where you get that nice look. Okay, so I'll show you the edge you can use. I wish they just had a gauge you could just hold on to, like with my camera outside, and just slide it gently and you could zoom just right. But this is very, very hard to do. All right, so you could take the edge of the batting too. So let's attach that to here. And let's go kind of up and roll it. This is very thick. And I'm going to just kind of spray off the edge, and you get a soft kind of thing like that going on. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Not going to hurt it though. So you got a little bit of a softness that these things can give you. Let's do one more down here. Open it up. Let's just let it kind of go where it wants. I'm spraying kind of far away, catching different parts of that, like that. And you can tie it together, kind of like that. It's a crazy looking cloud, but I'm not done yet, so let's do a little more here. And let's do some more. And then switch over and get a new piece if need be to help you not have everything repeat itself. See, now that piece was an older piece, so you want to take a new piece, stretch it out. It won't come apart like cotton unless you pull too hard. It will open up. I can feel the fibers, they're very strong. It's batting, I guess they call it. Okay, so let's go here and add some nice texture. Like I said, it's a two-man job at times, but if you do it right. Okay, let's go with that. Oh, I need more paint. Get it all set up, and then I don't put the paint in. Oh, come on. Okay, get in closer. Don't spray too hard, and you can get all kinds of effects. But that creates a very pretty sky with not a lot of, you don't have to have a lot of freehand control to do that. You have to just kind of, then at the base of the sky, you can usually lighten that a little bit, just to bring up some, you know, the atmosphere kind of thing. And then you can go back in to the top of the sky, or into areas that are in between, like here in this area. Find a little deeper area. If you didn't like an area like that part, I don't want to get too dark at the bottom. The top should be dark. Okay, so that pretty much is what you can do. Let's try one more thing here with the white. Right out of the bottle this time. You just look at it and you make it be what you want. You can go in freehand and you can fix things and give highlights to the top of the clouds if you want. And there you have some clouds that came out of a piece of batting. Micro clouds down here that are far away. The closer you get, say, to a horizon, you just keep them tiny, where they are not, they're far away, so they're going to get bigger as they come up. Perspective, that kind of thing. Real small down here. Anyway, that's kind of like, you can get bigger as you go up, tinier when you go down. Just a quick demo, just to show the perspective of clouds. They get tinier in the distance. So anyway, that's a piece of clapboard, and it's just, it's got all that kind of thing. Steve Leahy, how did you find me? I tried to hide from you tonight. No, I'm only kidding. I did a last minute thing here. So that's just a little demo with batting, for spraying through it. I kind of covered some of the really cool things, which I really should do one more little sample. So I'll just take a piece of tape. Like I said, if you get two people to hold the batting, you and one hand in it, okay? So you take the batting, I'm going to go up into an area like this. Hello, Steve, how are you? Okay, and you just kind of stretch it out. I could take a piece of tape too. This will be the other hand, I guess, You need that stretch right there. Okay, so now when you spray through that, whoops, you're going to get a really cool, this is great for beginners. All right, so let me get a little more, hopefully you got some, what do we got in there, white? Yeah, right here. There we go. Now I'm not going to keep working on this. I just want to show the micro clouds that you can get through the batting. Okay, like in here. Let me let it focus. Okay, so you can get some pretty cool stuff. Look at that stuff. That's the kind of stuff that happens in the sky, you know what I mean? So anyway, that's a little demo of painting clouds with an airbrush for a beginner especially, that just doesn't know how to go about it. And, you might want to pay attention to the darks and lights in the clouds. Start with a medium base and put your highlights on top and your low lights in, if it depends on if it's a storm. So that's the batting. It comes from the, the craft stores and places that does like Joann's Crafts, or I'm not sure about Michael's and stores like that, but anyway, we all live in different areas, so I don't really know what's available by you guys, but that's the painting, and let me get that out and pull that back. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get some of these. The sky is done. You work from the back to the front. So if the sky is done, I mean, I could always add a little more darkness to the top, and it's there, and it's pretty close. It's not exactly, could be a little darker, but it's not going to come down into this area. So you work from the back, and then the next thing that can go on there is the clouds. So let me get my Micron going. A little. I had been using my HP Plus, and yeah, like I said, I was gonna just do a demo, an upload for YouTube, give them some more things because it pays so much attention to Facebook. My YouTube people are waiting, and they get pushed to the side, and it's not right. So I have to balance this out. It doesn't have to be live for YouTube all the time. I just put one up of my jet painting. Okay, so having said that, I don't know who's all on here yet. Let's see, 6 people. I don't see, like on Facebook, I don't see your little logos, so I don't know who's on here. Okay, so let's see. Beginner, that would be me. Well, you're doing pretty good for. That's because you're so passionate, and you're so. I'm talking about you, honey. You're so into it. You're on every live feed. I mean, you're taking advantage of everything, and you're in school every day, and you're going to get so much knowledge. And as long as you practice and practice, you're going to get a lot more than when I was younger. As far as information, it was hard to come by back in the 80s. You had to almost beg, borrow, and steal to hang out at an airbrush booth for T-shirts. The airbrush bottles were not like labeled like this. Of course, it wasn't. It was T-shirt paint. They were literally, the labels were taken off so that the owner of the booth for the airbrush stand would not be disclosing what paints he uses. And he had his, at least where I ran into this a couple of times, the guys would say, if you're not going to buy something, then my boss doesn't really want you hanging. Because the airbrush people were sniffing around, not really sniffing around, just trying to find out, hey, how do you do that? It's not a place where you were going to get that information too much. Until the airbrush getaways started to explode and all the good things started to happen. You can't keep this down, you can't keep, there's the bigger picture. You can't keep knowledge from people. They're going to find it. If you won't share or teach and make money, they're going to find out, because there's a lot of people on the planet, and there's a lot of people that will get this out there, and it will be either through a school or a video. So anyway, airbrush action videos got me really going with a lot of great teaching. So if anybody was looking at my video that I put on YouTube, I've got a number of these up where I've got to cut this wing down. I'm working on trying to get it out of focus, blur. Now I don't want him sharp. I don't want sharp edges because he's blurry, because all the heat's behind him. So anything that's distorting the trees is in the front. Okay, so there's a couple videos up of me working on this. It's not finished by far. I'll be taking the green trees and I'll be making this wing shorter, a little shorter. Got a little bit off on my drawing, I guess. And then I will be cleaning up all around here, but keeping it fuzzy still. Sharpening things, going around the lights, and etc. I got a nice blue-violet sky that has a lot of white in it and orange. And anyway, so I have to just tighten it up. I have to fix the tires and different things. Heat distortion on the pavement, on the cement. Anyway, so that's on my YouTube channel from before. I don't know if Derek is here. Coleman, I will be bringing more airbrush, watercolor paintings, and just watercolor paintings without the airbrush too. Okay, so I took this photo a long time ago and I watercolored it for my wife. That's not this one. So far everything in this painting is airbrushed. This was protected with a little film, and this is on hot pressed watercolor paper. So I will be doing this or other paintings that will include how to airbrush with watercolor, or how to paint a watercolor painting and add airbrushing to it. You know, say you're doing a landscape scene of some beautiful lake and there's a morning mist coming off of it. Well, if you know how to keep color shifting from happening, you can put that in with the watercolors have to do a lot of scrubbing and removing, and it's just all kinds of ways to do it. But anyway, cheap paper, you're going to get poor results. So this is Arches. It's probably Arches 140 pounds, and it's warm. It's hot pressed, meaning it's very soft. It doesn't have a lot of the texture in it. Cold pressed is the traditional watercolor paper, but you got to get a brand. I would say get student paints and get the Arches top-notch paper. Don't cheat on the paper. You can cheat on the watercolor a little bit, the watercolor paint. You can also airbrush if you want. You can airbrush the transparent Createx. I've done that right onto. That's what I did on that painting. But I mean, you could mix and match. You can throw both together, depending on what you're looking for. All right, so let's see what I got here. I've got I got a white mixed up that has a little bit of violet in it. It might be too strong, so I got to test it. So I'll be putting a test color up here. I don't know who's on here, just so you know, guys. It's not like Facebook. I don't see anything until you comment. So just know that. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't see your logos. I don't see like on Facebook, the same. Okay, so I got magenta. I've got white, and I think I put a little green in that to give me a base color for my baby clouds that are in the distance. Now I'm going to go to the micron. It's these clouds. They're not white. See, I started it with white, and they're not white. They're actually going to be, oh man, this zoom. There we go. All right, so we get that right in that area. Tilt it up and over. Yeah, that should do it. Get it a little higher there. There we go. All right, so I'm going to put my micron on this one. So painting clouds now freehand. Like I said, if I use the batting, I won't have control, I don't think, of every little area. I'm trying to mimic the photograph. So I'm not going to just take a chance and then ruin my light color. So I'm going to try to just do the freehand clouds. The more, they always say back away with the airbrush and you get softer, and go in closer, you get tighter, okay? But then for a beginner, how does one stay close and still do it soft? You know what I mean? That's challenging. But the more you airbrush, the more you're going to find that you can get inside like Steve Leahy does, and he can put in soft blends on super microscopic stuff. That takes practice and control, because you're still pressing air on, but you're pulling back so lightly, but you still have to stay in close. Okay, so let me get the tape on the back of this in here, and we'll put this over here, right there. Okay, so that's this. It's a little shiny. Let's see if we can go lower. There we go. I have the bigger one at my disposal too, which helps me. That's another thing. I did bring the magnifier in for just to say, if you're about to paint the clouds, okay, you want you want to go in. Let's take the big one. This is for anybody, really. I mean, you really want to know what it's doing. You know what I mean? If you're just looking at it real quick, you can kind of see its soft edges. But if you really want to see, you can actually put this in a dark room on a projector and study the clouds monster size so that you can understand that the clouds are a work of art in themselves. You know, look at those little tiny ones down there. They're just little whispers of things, but they have color. They have a little bit of a color to them. Can always add white highlights on them. I'm not talking about all these other, storm clouds. And then there's that beautiful beach. Study it. Study the glow. Look at that glow down there on the beach. There we go. Can't have that going on top of any color. That's why I removed my color, doing it, working in different areas. So as we paint, we're going to be painting, correcting and redoing things. And you might see a video that's up on my channel, and then you go to the next one, you're like, wow, that glow looks better. Well, I probably removed and fixed it, that kind of a thing. And testing the color. Hope it's not too watery. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to go in here off of here. Turn that paint down. Turn that up there. Get that air down. And I'm just going to break this up a little with some soft strokes. Hopefully it's pink enough. Well, it's definitely gray enough. It's not as white as that. These are going to go yellow on me a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of, from a distance, put in a little fog here, a little, you might say. And then there's sections. There's like a little section that's darker right here. There might even be some speckles. So I'm using kind of like the pump stroke. Go over here, along there. Air dry it. Just don't make it one solid thing, Okay, so that's a beginning of it. Getting in real close, trying to make some little micro. And if you watch my finger, it's pumping. It's pumping strokes in there. I'll be adjusting the values because I might need to go a little lighter. And like I said, I'm just kind of sketching with the airbrush, trying to make this look like it's breaking off from there. That's going to have a yellow tint to it. Then it starts walking its way out here. I'll put a little dust down here like that. Kind of looking at that. And then it starts going this way. So just kind of give yourself something to work with. Keeping it soft. So again, talking about spraying soft up close. You're just going to stay in close. And where's my blue painting? Okay, so you're going to stay in close. You're going to get this effect, soft, but you're going to stay in very close. So how do you make soft? See, it's just very soft. I'm hardly pulling back at all, and I'm creating another soft cloud, but up close. And then when you think of the stuff that Steve does, where he gets in so close, he might have a highlight on here, talking about painting on a razor blade or whatever. There is harder edges on things like that, but there's also little wisps that are just, how do you do that up close? Just don't flood it on, you know what I mean? It's just, that kind of thing. It's all whispery and, that kind of thing going on there. Okay, enough said about that. So when I'm doing my sunset painting, This might help in the thought category, okay? I wrote that down for myself, and you could see I did 13 colors till I got one that I liked to match that light part of the sky, okay? And then I wrote down sky, uh, and I wrote what I use: cerulean, white base, blue, cerulean blue, red, orange, kind of like for a opposite color to gray this. And then I have a little cobalt. It says one drop after I made that, okay? So there's notes. Steve Driscoll used to do this. He said that what he didn't like, he would crush up and throw, like into the basket, like shooting bass. He said his studio looked like a science lab of a lot of different what do you call it? When you're trying to make up different colors to remember for later. It was like notes, and I don't remember the word he used, but it was all like a science. He was just, this is cobalt blue for number 2, the darker color, and that's the lower right side. That's down here, lower right side. The darker colors mixtures they dried up, by the way, because if you don't use them, sooner or later they'll dry up. And then I have those notes: cobalt, blue, violet, orange, and burnt sienna. And that made that up. And then I talked about the misty clouds, and on the right side, and the smaller blah, 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 all that. Then I drew a map, just real quick, looking at the real picture of where I mean to put number 3, which is color number 3, or color number 1. You know what I mean? So it's just a little way, especially when you're making colors that you're trying to match and you want to remix the color because you made a mistake, that kind of thing. So that's what that's all about. All right, I'm going to go over this with the other color. That's below. Hold on now. That might not be exactly where it lives. Yeah. So I'm going to just kind of do some weird dots, almost like dots out here. Skip around, let some blue show through. Oops, that's a little too much, guys. Just have to turn that into something that looks good. You can always go back with your blue and fix things, and that's why it's good to have those notes, So these are kind of like little pieces that are all letting some of that blue show through. Right there, you let it show through, and then you can build it up here a little bit more. This goes above that one. I'll just kind of fog in a little in and out stuff. I'm just giving myself some kind of an area to work on. All right, so then these guys, these actually have yellow in it. I got too much air pressure. Don't want that. And it could be the tip dry too. So I know we have like 5 people on here, and that's cool. But I don't know who you are. Except Honey, I know, and Steve was here. This is kind of solid in here, but it goes yellow. Like I said, when I say I'm copying it, I'm trying to get, I can go back in here and break up the blue with the blue. I can go back in and, so treat each area like it's its own little microscopic painting, you know what I mean? There's some pencil lines here I see. There's a cloud here that's more yellow. I'll just put a little noise here just to remind me there's a cloud there. Real tiny one right here. Kind of has a little tail on it. That might be whiter, but that's all right. I'm just marking areas. Okay, so this blue right here is going to come right underneath all that. So I have it established right there. So I know that there's going to be some little clouds right above it. I already guess I started right there. Yeah, that's them. What am I doing? Okay. Pull away. This one's like fuzzier, so just pull away. These are almost not noticeable, so really pull away. They'll be noticeable to the person looking at the painting, but they're very, very far away, kind of fuzzy little blurs. That's what makes it start to look photo kind of going after that. Okay, so right in here, man, keep doing that. Okay, a lot of that's sinking back into the same shapes, but I have to just... They almost look like little maps of land from, like little continents and stuff. Shapes. Just look for the shape and try to mimic it. Now this is blending right back in, but I don't want to get too strong anyway, so it's all right. This was coming downhill, so I'll just put a little color here. Hope you guys can see that. And up here, it's broken away. It's not attached to that cloud. And then there's a kind of going downhill thing going on here. Like I say, I'm working with a pinkish value. Better to go slow than too fast or too bright or whatever. Okay. When I get rid of this pinkish color, I am going to go to the lighter. This I'm going to have to make a little bigger here. It's not really that big, but it will work. Okay, there's no clouds up in here. And there is breakaway clouds. That's what I call them. They're little clouds that are not attached to the other clouds. Keep it soft. It's its own little poof right there. And there's one that's going kind of like longer. So that's like a circle, and that's like a shape going like that. Yeah, I'm going to get brighter, get a little more color going on in here. And it might be a little too thin, too watery, which is all right. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Kind of like a base laying in, all in here. This is that stronger one. What I think I'm going to do is go to the white, get a little more white in its own cup, and second coat it with that pinker color. That way because they're stronger than what I'm doing, right? I'm just using a little water to reduce this color. Too much 40-12, right? Can take away, break down the paint and won't have coverage. And so, let's see how the white behaves with the water in it. Okay, we're going to go back up in here. I'm going to second coat these later with the yellows. So this is the whiter color. oops, let's get you guys out a little bit. All right. Okay, so Richard, how you doing? Yeah, it is a good night to just do a little airbrush. I'm gonna do my cat. Tonight's a good night to paint. I was gonna paint anyway, but like I said, it was just gonna be for a YouTube video, which you guys would have just seen on my channel. It wasn't gonna be live. But sometimes you want a little fellowship, a little artist commune going on. So Mouse will be on Tuesday, I'm sorry. Monday night at 6. No, that would be Steve Leahy. So I'm trying to do a regular time here. So Mouse, I am going to work on Mouse a little bit. That's the name of my cat. Just a little bit before I put it up on Facebook, because it'll be Facebook Live demo. Because I lightened this picture up on my camera and I found more things going on in the dark area, and I just want to kind of get that in there. So I don't know how much I'll get done, but hopefully it'll start looking a lot tighter, and that will be my Monday night live with my cat. And like I said, I'm going to be doing more YouTube videos. This one I've taken a break from. This was on my Facebook Live. The reason why I took a break is I have to master some of the colors that are grayer. See, and when you're doing a Facebook Live, I mean, back here I'm pretty happy with, you know, everything that's going on, tiny little things on the shelves and stuff, but I really want to nail the colors better on the fur, and then I'll probably bring it back up either as a YouTube or a Facebook Live. But I'll get them. You know, it's just that there's more gray colors, okay, than the brighter colors I made, and I have to get that, or I'm not going to be happy. All right, so put that on the side, and I'll go after that at a later date. I have a bad habit lately of not finishing paintings. No, not lately. Historically, you know, just don't finish paintings, and I got just little parts to finish, you know, and people wonder what happened to that painting. Kind of like this one. I took a break from this one. If you get bored, you know, that kind of thing, that's nothing wrong with that, to just take a break. But I have a habit of not going back to it, and that's not good. So, touche to all the artists that, yeah, hey there. All's well. All is pretty well. Yeah, it is a good reference. I got this from a friend on Facebook that I asked if I could. He took the picture just on his little vacation, and this water in the middle here, that water is not puddling from the waves on the beach. It's actually, I forget what he called it, but it's running in fresh water from another source, and they have a name for that. And the beach is really a lot bigger, the distance from here to here. It's really angled, but it's a beautiful picture. I mean, it's got so many colors. And I have repairs to do. I have to go back in on mine, and I have to get that orange intensity out of here. It's just too heavy. It's just much easier transition. I got a little dark there. I'm going to fix that and then keep moving on it. Put the glow back in, have a nice bunch of white waiting so I can do that glow. Otherwise it won't show up. I'm learning to try to do that like on taillights and stuff that are on a car, that I've seen some artists on Facebook that are mind-blowing. Look at the scratches on that. That's probably from this photograph. Okay, so I have white in the gun. Get back to what I was doing. And I'm going to go right here so you guys can still see it. Yeah, look at that. That's one thing, you know, these will scratch. That will scratch. But opaques, if you were touching up a scratch on transparents, good luck with that one. You're going to have to make an opaque color, because it's just not going to work too good. It can work, but it's like a lot of work. So you can repair with the solid covering of an opaque paint. Trailing off. The pure white's not coming out yet because I still have some of the pink in there. Now these little babies down here. Let's see, let's get in closer. Forgive me for the zooming thing. And now we need focus. Come on, guys, focus. There we go. That's a little dark, but it could be a highlighted one. And you can cheat a little bit. Just make it longer. As long as these are tiny, representing distance. That's why they make microns. So I'm working on the bottom area, that area there, right in this area. And these are lower in the sky, but they're further away. This cloud might be just as big as this cloud. It is probably in real life, but it's further away. That's the atmospheric perspective, you could call it, I guess. But make sure you leave plenty of little blue around it, you know, because otherwise it won't work. It's not all big potato shapes in the sky. I mean, from drawing a lot over the years before I even knew what the airbrush was, the thing that I had a stronger, as opposed to doing portraits or something, a stronger ability that was kind of like from watching John Maggie, black and white guy, chalk artist, and one was the fact that I understood perspective and could see better than I could see like how to draw a face. You know, I could copy like a cartoon or whatever like that, but I did, you know, it's what you like and what you go after. My wife would always draw faces, and I didn't too much, unless it was a superhero guy or something kind of cartoonish. But I could get it accurate. But the thing is, it was not working on faces like a, you know, beautiful realistic portrait. I didn't do that till later in life. But drawing was the thing I did that evolved into oil paintings. And then I was starting to learn color. So if I drew like from a Currier and Ives card, whoops, let me dry that, you know, of a beautiful scene, practice, I could draw the building. I could sketch out all the shapes of the landscape and the trees. They all just came natural to me. No projector or anything was used back in those days. Didn't even know about a projector. We're talking the 80s. You know, right after I got married, I was doing a lot of drawing again because you settle down and you start having a family and you start wanting to do your artwork because you got your life in order, you know, and boy, oil paintings was fun. But then one day I was driving my parts truck and I saw tow trucks and race cars on the highway that were at body shops, and everything changed. It was a game changer. I was like, what is that? You know, that is so smooth, and made me put the oil paints away eventually, because I was like, and then you find the videos and you start going after hook, line, and sinker. You go after what you see being done, and all of a sudden you're, oops, sorry guys, let me go up higher, right there. So now I jumped up here, and I'm brightening up the very area I first started to paint, because it was too I was going for that color change, but it was not showing up enough. So I'm making that cloud there. And then I'm going to go skip over and make this one. Like I said, it looks like a little, look like the tip of Africa there or whatever. Just put in what you see at the best of your ability and skip around. My thing's not lining up perfect as far as the exact same cloud. It's close. It'll work. Nobody's going to go, oh, that cloud is not the same. But they are going to go, the sunset looks wrong or colors don't look right. You know, they're too bright. They're too, it's like when you turn up the color on your television or something, it's too bright. It's like, tone it down. That'll go yellow. So the littler and the bigger ones, this will be more solid right in here. Oh man, what do I got going on here? Low air pressure. Try that. Sometimes I do better with a little more air pressure myself. And right here in the middle, I'm just gonna kind of find some hot spots, bright spots, I should say. Far away, just poofs of out of focusness. Yeah, actually the too low of air pressure was causing me to go too hard. I can control it from doing t-shirts and stuff. I guess I need that a little bit more. So this is just little whispers of noise out here that are broken up little clouds, but they're not as bright as that. They're just breaking off away from the solid cloud. There's a lot of ones in this. They're like almost dots, but they're out of focus. Here, here, here. Breaks it up and makes it look interesting. It's still kind of fuzzy and stuff, but that'll all come together as you add other colors on it. Yeah, more air pressure is what I needed. That's that one. Now there's little dots here. Stay on one dot and second coat it until you see it. So that would be like right there. Helix. Yeah. Okay, so we've got, all right, so more comments here. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. Yeah, on the groove, I sat down for an hour yesterday and somehow I lost 5 hours. It was worth it. That's right. Yeah. You get on to, who said that? Ken, I think. You get on to a painting and you think you're going to put an hour in, and all of a sudden, like he said, 5 hours went by. You get in a groove. I've had that happen with my guitar. You know, you can get tendonitis where you sit there and you're trying to learn a song, especially like with Christmas coming along, and you want to learn a song for the, you know, for the holidays, and you don't know it at all, and all of a sudden 3 hours went by, and it's like, well, I learned the song, but where did the time go? When we love what we do, that's where the time goes. When we love what we do. It's a great diversion, especially in these times we're living in, more so than even before 2020. This was always a wonderful we did art, we made art, and it was always a great thing, and it's a diversion no matter how you cut it. But it's really a great diversion now. I mean, I have other things I do. I'm very much into my Christianity and praying and taking time out, praying for the needs of people, praying and trying to at least, and that's important to me. That has to come first, actually. But the thing is, this is a diversion. So is my cartooning. I can go from this painting right now and lay in bed and watch something on YouTube, and I can actually start outlining cartoons with my microns. It's all fun. I can't seem to not do art. I mean, even when I take my wife to the doctors because she's got a lot of doctor appointments, I bring my little pad with it's a little clipboard with my cartoons that are already drawn. So I have something to divert in an office that's showing me, you know, Property Brothers repeating 50 shows in a row. And I'm not interested in TV and stuff like that. Now in the doctor's office, before you know it, they're calling in my wife to go in. And I'm like, or even my own visit for my own self. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm in the middle of Bugs Bunny here. It's like where the time flies, but when you're doing something like that, it's amazing. So art is great diversion. And again, I said, especially in these crazy times, we artists, can keep busy, and we love what we do. And sometimes we're not even aware. I won't watch the news. I watch news on YouTube, but I won't watch the regular channels. I have my own reasons for that, but I have other news sources that I watch. And that's it. It's like if I want to watch Leave It to Beaver, you can go on YouTube and find it. And all these I like a lot of silly things like that, like Dennis the Menace and movies that are funny, that are cutesy funny. Little kids like Paul, what is that? Paul Blart, Mall Cop, or whatever. Silly movies, that are lighthearted and crack you up. But then I still am drawing while I'm watching the movies. Sometimes my wife goes, "Aren't you going to pay attention?" Like, I am. Yeah, I'm peeking up at it. So that's getting me established in that area. Let's back out. I got a few spider, what do you call it? Oh, that's great. Are you staying out of the garbage? Well, yes. Honey just reminded me the first thing I got on here. She had to remind me that I was. Well, I brought it up to you guys, so you have a right to pick on me or joke with me because I'm a knucklehead when it came to that. But as I said, Carl, I told Honey I fell again on the same places. Not jumping on a garbage bag. It was just an accident, leaning on my wife's walker. Um, Down I went, and boy, did that hurt. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" They had to pick me up off the floor, and that was 2 weeks after my X-rays. But I did something more to my neck because you can only take so many hits. You know what I mean? It's like, what the heck? So yeah, I actually am staying off of garbage bags, but I'll find a way to re-hurt myself, and I did a good job at doing that. So in answer to your question, I got re-injured. All right, so let's see about over here now. There's a few. This one comes up higher, so I'll just kind of put one here. It's kind of a longer one, so just kind of put it in. They'll all make sense. These are just a few little blurry spots that are kind of like just changing the color. Here, this blue gets lighter, so I'll just kind of mist over it. Even some of those clouds get mist over. Just changes the value of the blue down there, and it locks some of these clouds into a white mist that just pulls it into atmosphere, makes it atmospheric. All right, so what else we got here? We got a crazy cloud over here, and it's very out of focus. I'm going to put it in while I got it. Let's see, where is it? I think it's, if you count, 1, 2, 3 shapes, right? And I got the 1, 2, 3 shapes. So there it is right there. I started it. But I didn't fit. But I was ready to go up higher. So it's good that I hadn't marked that a little bit. So let's go this way, back into that cloud, and break up a little. Make it walk up in here a little. And this one breaks out. One shape, smaller little circular shape right there, and then the big one up here. There are 3 separate shapes. I might have to go in with some color to, to show that. And then you air dry it, and it calms back down, and it will be more like a yellow, kind of a yellow color if you look at it. A couple more of these little. No, I think I got enough. Maybe in here there's a couple little. Yeah, so I'm going to try to do some watercolors on this channel. I even advertise my channel as acrylics and watercolors, even drawing once in a while. So it is an airbrush channel mainly, but I'll tell you what, my airbrush videos, for some reason, one of them, YouTube sent me a note, an email saying that one of my, and it only says about 2,500 views or something on my thing, or 1,500. I don't know. I was really like, whoa, that's got way more views than my airbrush stuff. But it said from YouTube privately that I had 32,000 views on that one video. 32,000. I was like, well, why isn't it showing on my page? I only have almost 1,500 followers, so how do you get that kind of? But the watercolor people are a bigger crowd, I think, or it's more popular in the sense of something that people can all do, as opposed to somebody going out and buying an airbrush. They're like, well, the airbrush is too hard. They don't love it enough or something. That kind of thing. I don't know. All I know is, yep, my watercolor stuff, even though I airbrushed with the watercolor, it got all those views. And it got thumbs up. I didn't get any really nasty comments or anything. So it wasn't like, this is not, you're not doing watercolor the right way. Because there's purists out there. There's watercolor purists that will not, they won't accept, certain watercolor styles. It would be like, no, and you can't use white. You got to use the white of the paper. It's like, that's your rules. If I want to use white, I'll use it. I understand that stuff, but it kind of reminds me of like being ridiculous, But to all the purist watercolor people, we learn from you. So, just keep in mind there's variations of things. So, and I'm an airhead anyway. That's my main thing. I'll darken this up a little, darken that up a little, making those clouds wait for color. Okay, so that's pretty good for that corner. Now let's look at the whole painting as a whole. Get this off here. So it's starting to add depth and all kinds of stuff that takes time. One person said, boy, I wish I had your patience. I'm thinking to myself, boy, I wish I had patience of some other artists to actually finish their projects. So I guess because I put the jet painting back up and I was doing more on it, they said that very nice comment. But I laughed. I was joking with them like, oh yeah, we could all use more patience, right? All right. So that seems to be, where you see this stuff down here, where you see this breaking through. That's a good example of that sky color and the clouds breaking up, and how many different variations of values of the same color almost. Or else you wouldn't be able to see all that. You wouldn't be able to see that darkness of the blue in the blue. So that's got to be put in there. I've got corrections here. I got too dark of an orange, brownish orange. I got to have it glowing. I'm not saying it's right out of the bottle, but it's definitely less. Its saturation is high. It's closer to the edge of the color wheel. Look at the glow. Look at the glow under that cloud. So there's a lot of work in here. It's not just a solid color like that. This is so much lighter too. I mean, I'm going to just mist a little white over that just to break it up a little bit. And then they got scratches there, but that's there actually. That's a little white area that's right there. So let's see if I can kind of make this have some, because I know the color was a match, but not to spray it. There's other colors on it. So let's see if I can kind of do that with the white. White shifts to blue, but this is blue, so it won't hurt it. Gonna go real foggy out here. I gotta be careful though, because there's browns in there too. Golden orange colors. Let's kill that. All right, so I quieted that down, and I'll scope it. It can almost see like a gooseneck here, like a goose shape right in here. That's still the white of the board. And what else? Let's go to the yellow now. That would be over here. I put in a little yellow from when I was painting the bottom. And that little bit was too dull. It was not bright enough. Okay, where's my water? I do little things when I clean my airbrush. Hold on. Get that out of there. Just water. I do little things like I'll take my color cup like this off the gun, and then I'll take my water. Now it's not clean right now. Then I'll make sure I have nothing that can get ruined. So I'll do it off to the side. So let me just put a piece of copy paper here to protect what I'm doing. Because you got to clean your color cup a lot. I mean, with OPEGs you do. Okay, so I've got the water. I got a piece of paper down below. So you take your thumb and you just force that water out of there. And when you finally see some clean water coming out, you forced it out of the part that attaches, that part. Because otherwise it'd be hiding in there. You think you got your color cup all clean, and then all of a sudden you go to spray and the color cup also can stop you. A lot of times you might think, oh, my nozzle. No, but you got to take this off, right? You got to take this off. It gets really grimy. Mine's pretty good right now because I just went after it. And you got to go in there and get, like I could see all the white building up right now. It gets in there, the opaque paint, and just get it, keep it clean so that opening under there gets what it needs. Sometimes I'll take that little white thing out. Other times I'll just give it a hit like that. Usually when I'm working with darker colors, you can really see it on the Q-tip. But yeah, and then I'll wipe the threads off, which they're not dirty right now. and all of a sudden the airbrush will spray again. So it's not, oh, the nozzle's clogged, right? It's all kinds of stuff. So that's pretty clean. But anyway, what was I going to do? Yellow, yellow, yeah. Okay, so I have a little yellow mixed up. I have no clue. I didn't do any target matching or anything like that. I'm just spraying. Okay, so let's get the picture up there. Because it goes to orange, so I'll add orange to the yellow as I go. So you can see that beautiful, it's like a little sunset in the cloud, right? So let's zoom in. Again, we might have a problem with patience. And a matter of fact, I wrote myself a little note. It's kind of crazy. I'm doing a video. I wrote passion. These are just to jog my memory for talking. Passion and love, and that's to do with the art, and it can be with people too, you know. But you know, I'm gonna go on here, and I'm gonna like little confidence. I should have some confidence. So if I feel weak in my confidence as a teacher, then I have to remember that I started in '83. I'm not Drew Blair. I'm not Steve Leahy. I'm me. But if I don't speak with confidence of what I know and I can do, then I'm not going to be able to teach. You know what I mean? And feel good. And then your comments, people's comments on my paintings, that builds up, you know, that builds up confidence in us. And we all need to encourage each other. Experience, I have that. But like I said, never stop learning. Never. So I think Drew says all the time, I'm not only a teacher, I'm a student. You know, he's going to be a student all his life because he's always going to glean something. And that's amazing when you look at his work, right? Be calm and breathe. That's because sometimes I get a little apprehensive with the, you want to do so good on the videos and you want to do so good for classrooms and stuff. You know, sometimes you just get tight, and I'm known to have done that throughout my life. So I need to just enjoy it. You know, I should have put the word enjoy, right? And then practice every day if you can. That's what's going to do it. The passion and the practice will bring you that and that. You got to have the passion for. I've taught students that quit, not because I wasn't teaching good, because I have plenty of students that tell me that was a great class, you know, that kind of thing. But you got to have confidence and you got to love it. And when you get a student, maybe they're just trying it and they're like, well, you know what? That's not really for me. That's a fair thing. That's fine. Now see the pencil lines showing through there. So I should have erased that because this is a transparent. So when you're working with transparents, you know, you got to know that those pencil lines aren't going to be hidden. So I'll just do little circles there and get rid of that, get rid of this little noisy guy. And this is just going to be a transition here of, I don't want lines there, so let me just kind of do some circles. Okay, that just breaks that up a little. All right, so now we got the yellow in, and the yellow is pretty bright right out here. And the yellow starts to hit some of these clouds there. Let's go in on it. Okay. Thank you, Carl. Okay, so yeah, we have to encourage the newbies too. I mean, I'm not a newbie, but I wonder. I share a lot on the newbie page. It's called Airbrushing for Newbies, and I don't get a lot of response. I don't know why. It kind of gets me like I don't even want to share on that page. They're newbies. That's what the page is called. But having said that, maybe, just maybe, they look at the work of all of our work. Not me only. I'm talking about Steve and Steve Leahy and Drew Blair and people way, way, way beyond me. And they get intimidated. And then they put up something that's weak and the way it's supposed to look, it's a beginner. And we need to come on there and say, one guy, I think he had a cat, and he said, help, because he saw my cat today. He said, help. And I said, hey, first of all, you're not that far off. You're doing good, you know, actually. You're doing very good. And you just got to get your drawing more accurate. Use a projector. And I think I said one other thing about, don't be afraid to, you know, don't be afraid to get the drawing right, and then maybe learn color theory. And I recommended Drew's class, Color in a Box, because that to me is like the ultimate. And then from there, just put that up there. I know that it's not as strong over there, but it's really strong here. So I'm second coating. Every time you second coat over transparent, it will get more intense. A little bit more fog here and there, and a little one out here. I think it's out here. There's pink then I'm going to be putting on. That's pretty intense there. Now I'm gonna try. I'm not in the mood for mixing right now, so I'm just going to try a little bit of burnt uh, burnt sienna. I probably should mix a little something, but I got a dirty airbrush, so let's see what happens. All right, so I'm just going to dust in at the top of that cloud this warmer brown. Yeah, it is all about that, but it's also that we need to encourage the people, because if I look at my work when I first started, I mean, I remember if anybody that was really good, I'm talking back in the sign business. Hey, that's working, guys. If anybody was really good in the sign business and they gave me a like compliment, and I was far, far, I'm talking about airbrushing on trucks and things. I was far from their skills, their level. My wife used to say, I know you're going to get there one day because I know you can do that, and all that kind of stuff. And that's a wonderful, those are the kind of things we need to be, you know, letting the other people know that I was there, I was right where you are right now, and want to see some of my older work? That'll make you feel good, that kind of thing. So, but the newbie thing, that page, that group, they don't really, it seems like one or two people click on it. They don't say anything. And then you go to another page where you shared a pet portrait or something, and it's like, wow, you get like lots of people, talking and saying nice compliments, or nobody's really ripping. You get a few rippers that come on YouTube, but I got one guy, I actually, said goodbye to him. I blocked him. He was being really nasty. I could tell he was attacking me, saying that my paintings were making him want to throw up. And I'm not quoting him, but really, really sick. Like, really? Come on. I enjoy my paintings. They're not going to make you throw up. They're not the best in the world, but look at the saturation of this now. Okay. Look at that saturation, and look how I sprayed that on so lightly to that area that it ends up being just dusted in, not that. So you have to control, like when we spray, say a gradation scale, okay, you have to control how long you're on the trigger, or else you're in trouble. And you can make a scale from dark to light. This isn't even full dark, so let me put that back here. And you could say, well, I want to stay in this color range, this value. Well, you have to be careful, because if you're using transparents, you could overshoot and be over here, real easy. But if you're mixing up opaque colors like the sky, right there, you can't overshoot. You can't overshoot because, I mean, you got to get it to be covered, and the percentage has to be 100. But after that, you've got it. It will not change. It will not go past the color you mixed it at. Yeah, there's many ways to to do things. And you're going to learn from so many different artists, especially today with YouTube, that's why I'm going to be a student all throughout the years, because just when I think I've done something that was really, really special, and I see some other artists pop up a picture of a car they painted, the interior of the dashboard, and it looks like every little number's on the, you're talking about the speedometer, you're talking about a photograph. And I want to crawl back into my corner and say, oh my gosh, I painted cars before. Some of these guys are over the top. They're gifted. And that's where I wrote down that word, patience. I think I wrote patience because they got a gift of patience just in that alone. They might not even like my work or whatever. They're so freaky good. But I don't know. They don't say nothing. But they say thank you when you compliment them on their work. So anyway, I will be continuing on this as I go. Let's see, we've got a little bit of the warmer clouds. Let's see if I could put some of that pink back in. Remember, these were painted in pink at first and they weren't showing up. Now I got the dirty color cup, right? It's time for a little cleaning. I'm putting Windex in there with a Q-tip, because I don't have time to sit here with water and just rinse and rinse. I want to quickly get over to the next color. Now my color cup has all that color out of there. Now I'm going to go to water. And I will be putting that in there. And I do a little back flushing. See how dirty it is? That's still in the throat of that color cup. And I turn the air pressure up super high to clean. I'll do a little more water. Let's see if it got a little bit more clean. Yeah, it's still very dirty. But I'm going to the pink now, so it's not really a pink. It's a grayish pink, white. And I'm going to add a drop of white to it because you know what? It is too watery. A couple drops. And I'm going to just try to find some of those little clouds I just did and just change their color. So that takes patience because you're going back over the same shapes. It's like, that could be boring to some people. Okay. So again, this is here. There's a lot of pink in here. I might have taken the yellow too far because there's actually pink back up in there. But I have to paint that white again. If the pink's not strong enough, it'll just look whiter. So that's not good either. That's exactly what's happening. The pink, when I added that white, my pink is basically gone. So I'm going to put one drop of magenta into that white. And I'm going to treat it very carefully. It's pretty bright, so I'm going to take a little moss green. Look how bright it is. I mean, that's too bright. So if I put moss green on a paintbrush, a little paintbrush, put it out on a palette, one drop, and then I'll stir that in there, kind of the opposite color, and gray down, knock back that terrible brightness of that oversaturated color. And now, I know you might not be able to tell, but I've grayed it down. I could go more, but not much more. I'm not putting a whole drop in. So it's definitely more milk and magnesia color now, and I'm going to treat it like a transparent. So it's more like that color. And that's what I wanted. But if I left the magenta in that cup by itself, forget it. It'll be too oversaturated, even as an opaque. Time for a new filter in my air station, or the Awada cleaning station. Okay, so here's that pink. That's the color I want. let's see if we could change the color of these clouds. Maybe I could do it with just a little bit of a pump stroke. There we go. There we go. So let's move in and cut this thing. There we go. It's not all over. It's like just a little bit here and there, just a little. It's important, you know. If I get a little too dark, I will address that by going over it with the white. So let's go over here. That's pink. Just far away. Just bring a little stop and look, like Tim would say. 1 second rule. Timothy's page his videos are amazing with the inks. Timothy John Luke Smith. Check out his page for anybody that doesn't know him. He is a great teacher and a great artist. And he's very passionate about what he does. Okay, so yeah, that one's a little yellow over here. Let's see. Let's see if I can get some of that pink up in here without going to the white. Might not happen. A little bit. It's kind of purpley, this one. Opaques can cover, so I can kind of go over the top of that. And I'm just going to spray from a distance there. Okay, so I wasn't really showing you that one, I'm sorry. But I added my pink right up in here a little bit. And yeah, I could see a little pink on this one. But it's not on all of them. It's just maybe a little touch. Just, you know, like that. Okay, so it's spread around. And now we look at it from a distance and we start to stare. Yeah, our snow. John, where are you? We're here in Jersey, and yeah, we got only a few inches, like three inches, enough to shovel around the car, you know, because a lot of ice builds up at night. But cold out there. I don't like the cold. I like the warm air. Oh, wow. You should be used to some really deep snow. So, yeah, Jersey here's got a good cold snap going on. And so that's pretty good for now. I mean, you can see I've changed this, made some changes, and got these are too shiny. Let me get my bigger picture. Okay, so we just turned it that way a little bit. Wow, colder than Alaska. I can believe that. It's all crazy everywhere. I don't like, you know, and then you add wind chill, and you're talking about some nasties. We were down in the 9-degree area. My friends out in Rifle, Colorado was -9, -10. And I don't know if that was wind chill, but is that like black ice happening out there? Yeah, there are some funny videos, and as long as nobody gets hurt, on people trying to get out of their car and go up the driveway, but the ice is there, and oh my gosh, -27? Wow, 2 days ago. That hurts. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. You talk about being covered in layers of clothing, right? Whew. And you don't want to lose the heat. That's the main thing I think about when we have a storm, is losing power. So that's what I've done today. I've worked all those clouds in. I did the little sample board, which is somewhere here, using the batting. If you didn't see that, you go back to the beginning of the video and you can spray through batting and get some really nice texture, you know, like that right there. Yeah, it's pretty busy. Little microscopic things, you know. So anyway, that I just painted in the very beginning, showing far away clouds and close clouds and wispy clouds, just as a demo on an old piece of clay board that looked like it was ruined. And now I could make this into a little painting. I could put a an ocean out here, maybe a little sand dune, and it's painting. But anyway, all right. So on Facebook Live Monday, I will be continuing on Mouse, my cat painting. Okay, I'll be continuing on him with the inks, black and white, and trying to get the fur. Now, on clayboard, this kind of stuff you can do with an X-Acto knife. On Bristol board, not really, just it's another animal, you know. So I'll be doing a lot of the clusters of fur that are freehand, they're out of focus. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, and be safe out there. And I'll see you Tuesday at 8 o'clock if everything goes well with my routine. And that's 8 Eastern Standard Time on my Facebook channel, which is Bill Sneggin. You guys know that mostly. But for anybody else on my YouTube channel that doesn't know that, if they want to pop on to a Tuesday night live demo on Facebook, that will be painting in black and white the cat. Right? So there's the painting today. There's the, I wish that was it right there, you know, there. Guys, I finished. How about, no. There it is though. Got a lot of repairs to do down here, but slowly but surely, you know, it will come together. So thanks for checking this out. To all you airheads out there, be safe, have a nice night, and don't forget to paint. You're welcome. Now, are you Blue, Bayou, or Honey? Who am I calling? What am I calling you now? Take care, John. I'm calling you Honey because that's what your real name is, right? You're welcome. You're welcome, Honey Blue. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it. And thanks for hanging out and you know, checking out the video live. It's a little different than Facebook because I do not see any comments until, oh yeah, now I do. I had to scroll back. Oh, I wonder what I missed. All right. So, all you guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. Take care, be safe. And Steve, thank you. Oh, you loved it. That's a nice compliment coming from a master. I appreciate that. And I will see you on Tuesday night. Take care. God bless you guys, and good night.